So last year, Ohio State arguably had the best defense in the country, and they played Texas, and they gave up 14 points. Well, that defense lost 8 starters to the NFL after the season. It only returned Caleb Downs, Sonny Styles, and Davison Igbinosun. And yet, they just only gave up 7 points to Texas, the number 1 team in the country in the preseason, to win a game 14-7. So now we have to ask the question. A defense that had that many NFL players go off to the NFL, and yet is Ohio State's defense better in 2025 than it was in 2024, Stefan?
Yeah, I mean, one game would suggest the answer is yes. I think there's obviously some room there. I do think we have to add in the caveat of, as good as Ohio State's defense looked, and we're about to talk about that a ton, like, an offense is going to struggle a bit in week 1. So I think Texas's offense is going to get better. So I think that's maybe an important piece here. But I am open now, after kind of seeing it in action, to this defense being maybe as good, maybe better than last year's defense, because they've actually improved in some areas, even though they've lost guys, right? Like, I think at linebacker, they're as good with I mean, what we just saw Arvell Reese do, like, that's at least equal to what we saw Cody Simon do throughout last season, if not a step up. I think at corner, the way Davison played today was better than we saw last year. I think Jermaine played just as well as what we saw at corner last year. And then we see this guy, Devin Sanchez, who's a freshman, rotating in. It's like, oh, that true freshman's getting snapped against Texas. Interesting. And then you see the way they're using Caleb Downs, the way they're moving around the defensive lineman. Like, Kenyatta Jackson came out of that game, and we look down, it's like Bo Atkinson's inside and Katie Curry's outside, and C.J. Hicks is making the biggest play of the game, or at least the final big play of the game. It's like there's so many different things going on, and, like, that's how many tools Matt Patricia has to make this defense great. And the biggest question this offseason was, why did we think maybe the defense would take a step back? Obviously, because they were amazing last year, and it's natural to think that maybe there's a slight step back. But it was also like they needed a lot of different guys to prove that they were improvements, right? Like I need to see the idea of what Jermaine Matthews can be and what Kenyatta Jackson can be and what Arvell Reese can be. Those are fun ideas, but they're ideas until you see it on the field. And then you see Jermaine Matthews coming out here getting picks against the guy that's supposed to win the Heisman. And Arvell's in the backfield wrecking the first half. And Kenyatta Jackson's playing well, and Katie Curry's playing well, and Bo Atkinson's moving around, and Kenyon McDonald and Edric Houston are doing different things to slow down the Texas rushing attack. You just, like, take a step back, and you're like, okay, what if those guys do what we think they can do? What if they do step up and deliver in the ways that we think they can? Again, it's one game. There's a long way to go. But we just needed to see this team on the field. We needed to see these players in these roles. And against the number 1 team in the country, they delivered.
Andrew, I don't know if you had a lot of skepticism about Matt Patricia and what he might look like as a defensive coordinator in this game, but evaluate his week 1 performance, because it was a pretty big one.
Hey, I mean, look, I said this on the podcast because I wanted to get out ahead of it for this reason, because I wanted to say, if Sark put Patricia in a blender, which left hand up, I thought was going to happen. I thought if Ohio State was going to win this game, they were probably going to have to score like 28 points. I thought Ohio State was going to have to score on a really good Texas defense, because I did not think Matt Patricia was going to be able to keep up with Steve Sarkisian. Steve Sarkisian, one of the best offensive minds in the sport. Nothing about today changes that. They still have a 5-star quarterback who I still think is going to be pretty good. Ryan Day said is going to be pretty good. I don't think today necessarily makes me think Arch Manning stinks. But Matt Patricia's defense just allowed 7 points to the number 1 team in the country with 5-star talent all over the ball on offense. What else do you want, right? Ohio State came into this game, and if I had told you, Steven, I'm a genie from the future, Ohio State's going to score 14 points, you went, oh boy, oh man. The last time they came out on this field, they scored 10 points, and they couldn't stop running the ball, and that's why they lost. Oh man, Ohio State's going to lose again. Stefan would have said the same thing. Ohio State scored 14 points, and they won this game by a touchdown. Matt Patricia, he was unbelievable, and I think the number 1 thing that I just saw today was he just let his players play, man. Like, they had a lot of too high looks with safeties where it was very clear. Ryan Day kind of basically said this at his press conference, where it was, we were going to make Arch try to beat us. We wanted Texas to beat us. We weren't going to beat ourselves. I think to answer your question to Stefan, I'm not there with the safeties right now. Lathan Ransom was awesome. I'm not going to say they're better at safety than they were last year, even though if Caleb Downs does take a step forward. Linebacker, I think they're better than they were a year ago. All due respect to Cody Simon, who was one of the best linebackers in the sport. Sonny might just be Cody of last year. Arvell might be improved Sonny. The corners, sorry to Denzel Burke, they're better. Like this 2025 unit is better. And they lost a 4th-round pick. I think it was a 4th-round pick, maybe 5th-round pick in the NFL draft, and they got better. Davis Igbinosun was better because you didn't hear holding number 1 on the defense. You didn't hear pass interference on Davis Igbinosun. Jermaine Matthews, baller. Devin Sanchez looked good. I thought Lorenzo Styles looked good. The question of this defense is going to come down to the defensive line. But Matt Patricia's unit was raring to go, and they held a very, very good offense and a very, very good coordinator in check. Left hand up, Andrew Gillis, I was wrong. I thought Matt Patricia was not going to look great. Even today, maybe down the line it would look okay. They were very, very good.
Let me just say real quick, too, like I think the 2 biggest plays of this game are Jermaine's pick and then the 4th down, I guess you would call it, it was probably labeled a PBU by Davison in the corner of the end zone. Like, I think those were 2 biggest plays of the game.
I'm going to compare this to Jim Knowles. Jim Knowles is obviously a very good defensive coordinator. I think the difference between him and Matt Patricia is shown in how one of them is used to having NFL players at their disposal. The other one wasn't used to having NFL players at his disposal until he got here. Jim Knowles has a certain way he plays defense, and he fits players into his scheme. It's in college, a lot of times you see players dictate scheme. Jim Knowles' scheme dictates the players. And so because of that, you had guys like C.J. Hicks who didn't really have a role on the field. Arvell Reese, I don't know if he reaches this ceiling with Jim Knowles. He's probably just doing more traditional linebacker stuff. I don't know if we see as much 3 down as we saw where Devin Sanchez is thrown out there. He also didn't play as many players in as many packages. Matt Patricia is used to having NFL players, and so he knows what to do with them. It didn't mean he was going to come out here and automatically succeed. It just meant it was going to look different. And by different means, okay, these are the players I have. What do they do well? Let's do that. Arvell Reese can do typical linebacker things. You know what he can also do? Come off the edge. So when Kenyatta Jackson got knocked out of the game, guess what they did with Arvell? His hand was in the dirt. It wasn't just blitzing or, showing a blitz up the A gap or the B gap. He was hand in the dirt. C.J. Hicks made one of the 10 most important plays of the game at the end of the game where he's sacking Arch Manning, and Arch says, I won't give you the stat. Jermaine Matthews, as you mentioned, just put him on the field side and let him lock somebody down, and that's what he did. I loved what they did with Devin Sanchez. They put him in a role where he was playing field, and his only job was to cover the outside. And it maximized what he is right now as an 18-year-old by not putting him in positions to make mistakes. Because even the catch he gave up, good throw, Arch.
That was Arch. That was Arch showing you, like, there's reason for Heisman hype. Like, Arch will get there, and that throw was kind of where you were like, damn.
There was no play for Devin to make, but he made plenty of other plays as well. This defensive coordinator is maximizing, at least in week 1, what the personnel is, and that's a bunch of freak athletes. You can put every bit of everywhere. Bo Atkinson is the answer to the defensive tackle depth. It's, okay, we got Edgercution, we got Caden McDonald, and we got Will Smith, and we think we have Tywan Malone. But when it's 3rd and long, Bo, you're going inside, and some combination of Kenyatta, Caden, CJ, and Arvell is going to be on the edge, getting after it. And you're going to keep one of those defensive tackles out there. Most of the time it's probably going to be Edgercution. This is a true Rushman package. I loved what I saw because you saw a defensive coordinator who spent 9 months realizing this is what I have and this is how I maximize it. And now they've gotten through this game, and now we'll probably see more packages get involved. We'll probably see Caleb Downs more in the nickel in the coming weeks. Peyton Pierce will probably have a bigger role. Guys get a chance to develop into their roles, but we saw a taste of what Matt Patricia as a defensive coordinator looks like, and it is multiple across the board and maximizing what these players are, because you can't have a bunch of 5-stars and top 100 recruits and then not use them, and he is using them, and that's why they only gave up 7 points to Texas, and those 7 points came in the last 4 minutes of the game against a quarterback everybody, not us, but everybody else thought was probably going to win the Heisman and win the national championship. Well, one of us thought he was going to win the Heisman Trophy, and he still might do that. He's a good quarterback. But this defense is very, very good, and if you thought they were going to take a step back, I think that is wrong. It's just going to look different, but I still think they have a chance to be a top 5 defense. Go listen to Buckeye Talk. We're going to continue to have these conversations, and Stefan and I are going to rewatch this game and probably spend a lot of time talking about the defense. 614-350-3315. It's a 2-week free trial, $3.99 after that. I promise you, you'll always have a good time with the text. Steven, Stefan, Andrew, Ohio State 14-7. They are 1-0 to start the season, and now everybody can breathe. See ya.